I'll never forget 9/11. I was working for Lucas County government as a PR guy at the time, and I had gotten some of my colleagues together to form a committee of communications people for a Columbine type disaster or other emergency. And ironically, our very first meeting was the morning of 9/11. We had exchanged emails, phone numbers, that sort of thing. And when we got back to our offices, we all pretty much saw the same scene. There were about 10 or 12 people around a TV in my office, and I walked in just to see the second tower collapse. Needless to say, that was probably one of the longest days of my life. We had a municipal election going on in Toledo. We had to go down that phone tree right away of all those communications people and call a press conference to calm down the community because it was chaos and calamity everywhere. We had to put the mayor of Toledo and the president of the Board of County Commissioners alongside the director of the Board of Elections to assure people that the municipal elections were still going to go on. There had been a rumor that they had been canceled, and we wanted to encourage people to show that America was still strong and vote that day. That was probably the most important thing besides calming people down, because we were all looking for a light switch in the dark. We wanted to know that everything was all right anywhere in America, not just in Pennsylvania, New York, or Washington, D.C. How could this be happening in America? I think that was the question on just about everybody's minds. And when you saw that second tower just pancake down on top of itself, what the heck? I had more questions than answers. I think everybody had more questions than answers at that point. And even the broadcasters that were on TV that day, a long 20-year career in that industry, you saw them not just as news people that day. You saw them as Americans. You saw them as citizens. You saw them as a neighbor. And they were just as confused. They were just as scared. They were just as in amazement, I think, as everybody else in America that day.
If you were to say, just collectively in one sentence, what made it real, like, oh, this, it's an unbelievable thing. If you were to say just like one statement about what that day made it real to you.
In the aftermath or that day?
That day.
That day, what made it real for me was knowing that there were firefighters, first responders, police, of all agencies, didn't matter what level of government, they were running in when most people were running out. And their families, their children, us as Americans, we had no idea whether they were safe or not. That not knowing made it real.